Hello, I'm Sagar Raish, owner of Raish Law, one of the highest ranked law firms in Las Vegas, Nevada. Today I'd like to chat with you about wills, trusts, estates, and estate planning in general. One of the most common questions we get asked, the attorneys get asked that do any kind of estate planning is, first of all, what is an estate plan? Second, why do I need it or do I need it? And third, how much is it going to cost me? So let's approach each of those very briefly. An estate plan generally is a plan for individuals who have assets, any kind of assets, whether it's a house, a commercial building, personal assets, family heirlooms, and so on, that want to pass those assets on to their beneficiaries without going through probate. You'll hear that term a lot, probate. Probate is the process that takes place when somebody passes away. If they don't have an estate plan set up correctly, a probate is used to really decide, based on Nevada law, or based on California law, or really any law in the country, wherever the person is located, to see what will happen to their assets. Who do the assets go to? If there are multiple people who might be entitled to them, how are the assets split up? If it's a property, should it be sold? If it's a business, what happens to it? If it's a vehicle, what happens to it? If it's personal property, what happens to it? Clothing, jewelry, family heirlooms, art. An estate plan is very critical to avoid the probate process. As you can imagine, a judge going through this and multiple lawyers from multiple parties and beneficiaries and everybody jumping on can make it a very, very expensive process. An estate plan is a way to avoid as much of that process as possible to keep it very streamlined as to what your wishes are of what happens to your assets after you're not here anymore. The estate plan has many tools. You'll hear a lot of different terms being used as to the different pieces of the plan. One of the most common one being a will. Most people have heard of what a will is. They might just say, oh, my last will and testament. They might have seen movies or TV shows and can probably imagine what a will is. But what a lot of people don't realize is a will doesn't necessarily mean that you'll avoid probate. If you have a will, there's a very high likelihood that your estate, the total value, the total assets, everything you have, will still need to be probated. It's very, very important to have an estate plan that captures what you really want to have happen with your assets, with your remains, with what happens essentially after you're no longer here. One of the most common tools that's used in estate planning, you might hear this one as well, is a trust. There are multiple kinds of trusts: revocable, irrevocable, spendthrift. The number of trusts really depend. The type of trust really depends on what you want to have happen. And a consultation with an attorney, like somebody at our law firm, would really get you to understand which trusts you need. One of the most common trusts, for example, a revocable trust, could be used to put a house on it. A lot of real property, as it's called, so land, buildings, houses, commercial buildings, would fall under that category. And a trust is a really good way to pass those on to your beneficiaries without incurring substantial taxes, penalties, and otherwise probate. Along with the will, a potential trust, a lot of attorneys will do an estate plan and will include certain powers of attorneys, whether those be general powers of attorneys, whether they be healthcare power of attorneys, whether they be directives, healthcare directives, what happens to if you are injured or hurt or can't make your own decisions. A lot of those tools are all kind of brought together in the estate plan. And so the estate plan is a very, very useful tool. The second piece is, how do you know if it's the right fit for you? Generally speaking, if your assets are over a certain dollar threshold, you'd want to get an estate plan. If you have more than $20,000 or $25,000 worth of assets, there isn't a real streamlined approach of going through it. Or if you have even if you have a few $1,000s in assets, but you own a house, a real property, it'll still the total estate will still go through probate. So if you are in that category where you have more than a few $1,000s or in a house, or your total assets are worth more than $20,000, $25,000, there's really no way to streamline it without doing an estate plan. So you're usually recommended to do an estate plan at that point. Additionally, if you're in a unique position in your life where you might be diagnosed with something, or you're just coming into certain monies and you want to make sure those are passed down to your children or your friends or your siblings or spouse or parents or whoever else, it's a really good way to do it's a really good way to bring those issues together in the estate plan. Third and last piece is cost. The estate plan, the cost of the estate plan, while there are some basic costs, vary a lot because, as you can imagine, if somebody has a house in Colorado, a building in Michigan, a apartment in New York, a house in Las Vegas, their estate plan is going to be a lot different than somebody who has a car and a few $1,000s in their account, and maybe a house, right? So the costs for the plan will differ. A lot of attorneys, though, the good news is we'll be able to work on a cost plan on a fixed fee. Once you get to a consultation to the attorney will be able to tell you, hey, based on what you have, here's what the plan will cost. Our law firm like ours, for example, majority of estate planning we do is on a fixed fee basis. A lot of attorneys like we do, for example, provide free consultations. So take advantage of that. Reach out to the attorneys, chat with them. It doesn't hurt. It's a free consultation, and at least you'll get an idea of, do you need an estate plan, and if so, how to structure it and how much it might cost. My law firm and I are happy to work with you and happy to help you. If you want to pick up the phone, give us a call. You can reach us anytime. Our number is 702-758-4240. You can also reach us at rageattorneys.com. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and hopefully I look forward to working with you. Thank you for watching today's video, and I look forward to working with you.